Welcome back. I want to show you one last thing that I think is really, really cool. And because we've learned about object-oriented programming, this should make sense to you now. You see, the error constructor is an object, right, that we can extend from. So, for example, if I had a class that I'll just create and call it authentication error, and we extend from error, well, we can inherit all the properties of error and add onto it or change things. So I can say constructor will receive a message, and this message will, well, first of all, call the super method with the message. So however the message gets handled in authentication error will be handled the exact same way that it does in error. So it calls the constructor of error. But on top of that, I want to change the name of this error to authentication error. And also this dot, maybe we want to add something else, something completely useless like favorite snack, which is obviously grapes. Let's see how this would work. If I do throw new authentication error with a message saying oopsie, and I click run. Oh, and it should be extends here, not extend. Let's make this a little bit bigger. There you go. And I click run. Look at that. I get an authentication error with oopsie. The cool part is that if I do, let's say, const a equals new authentication error, and I do a, make sure I spell that right, const, and I do a dot favorite snack. Look at that. Favorite snack of authentication error is grapes. How cool is that? Using this way of handling errors, imagine you're running a node server and you want to make sure that you handle errors correctly. Now, the tricky part here is that when you throw an error to, let's say, a user, you don't want to reveal too much information about your system because hackers and bad actors might use that information to compromise your system. So you don't necessarily want to just throw any error to the user so that they can see. For example, in a node server, you never want to return a response with a full error with a stack trace of the error, where it happened, and all that information. So you can actually use this to customize the errors that you may have. For example, using this same method, you might want to create, let's say, a database error. And by the way, these should be capitalized because they are classes. So that is the standard. So database error, what else will we have? Well, maybe we might have permission errors. So I can say permission error. We'll have different things like we'll change this to permission error, database error, and we can have different properties on it. But this way, we're extending our error constructor or error class into different compartments so that our errors can be handled in different ways. And these are reusable, right? So other people in our program can now use authentication error, database error, and permission error without having to really worry about maybe even things that might not need to be revealed to the users. Maybe you don't even need to pass a message to this. Maybe you just want to have a default message that is in here like grapes. So that when I call the database error, even though I pass it a message and I run this, well, it's only going to receive grapes. So that instead of relying on everybody on your team, all the programmers, to make sure that they return the correct type of error that doesn't reveal too much information, we can just handle it within this space from one location. Now we can just create instances of each error. So for example, A will be an instance of the database error. So if I run this, I get true. How cool is that? Good job getting this far. I'll see you in the next video.